SpongeBob SquarePants is an American animated comedy TV series showing the adventures of SpongeBob and his marine friends in the city of Bikini Bottom. As a dedicated fan, you might think you know everything about the characters and the show, but do you really? From Pearl's mother to global warming, here are SpongeBob secrets Nickelodeon was hiding. Number 1. The Krabby Patty Secret Formula. The Krabby Patty secret formula was a source of frustration for many viewers. It formed the main plot of many episodes when Plankton came up with some exciting and downright diabolical ideas to steal the secret recipe and become as successful as Mr. Krabs with his restaurant. We know that Plankton never did get his hands on the secret formula, but why couldn't we? After all, we were mere viewers and should have been in on it. Well, some viewers didn't take being in the dark lying down. They went through many episodes to piece together the actual recipe, and the possible ingredients might just surprise you. Some sources report that the Krabby Patty has 2 buns, lettuce, cheese, tomatoes, mayonnaise, tartar sauce, flour, turmeric, a patty, mustard, ketchup, sea salt, lamb salt, onions, and barnacle shavings. The secret formula is also on the list, and we obviously don't know what it's made of, but the answer might be in front of us. Many viewers speculate that the secret formula is nothing at all. They think that Mr. Krabs invented the supposed secret formula to prevent Plankton from putting his time and effort into making his restaurant, the Chum Bucket, a success. After all, when Patrick was left in charge of the slogan for the Chum Bucket, it had more customers than the Krusty Krab. Although, if you Google the secret recipe, King Neptune's Poseidon powder comes up as an answer, so that's also a possibility. Number 2. Plankton has no friends. There are billions and billions of phytoplankton in the world. In fact, there's more phytoplankton than stars in the sky, and yet Plankton from SpongeBob SquarePants doesn't have a single friend. You can't help but feel sorry for the little guy. Throughout countless episodes, you'll see other residents of Bikini Bottom being able to enjoy delicious food from the Krusty Krab, but Plankton is never allowed. He's so intent on stealing the recipe that Mr. Krabs and Krusty Krab employees never let him purchase one, and every time he's unsuccessful in his attempt to get a Krabby Patty, he has to return to his lonely Chum Bucket restaurant and home. A home that always seems so incredibly lonely. I'm exhausted. Why don't you go make yourself useful and synthesize me up some grub? He also gets stepped on countless times for being so small that he's even bullied for his full name, Sheldon J. Plankton. Plankton's only true companion in his entire life isn't even a real creature. It's his computer wife, Karen. He supposedly met Karen when she was a calculator, and they grew up together, fell in love, and got married. But I'm pretty sure even she gets tired of Plankton's antics, especially as when he's not busy trying to steal a Krabby Patty. He's in jail. Before moving on to the next point, I'd like to take a moment to introduce you all to my merchandise. You can support my content by getting your favorite products from my store or by simply joining my channel. Your support means a lot to me. Now, let's get back to the video. Number 3. Pearl's mother. A lot of plot lines in SpongeBob SquarePants don't make sense. I mean, they light fires underwater, and a starfish is best friends with a sea sponge. But perhaps the most confusing storyline is the one surrounding Eugene Krabs and his daughter, Pearl. Mr. Krabs is a crab, and Pearl is, well, a whale. I'm no expert, but I'm pretty sure whales and crabs can't do the dirty. And we also know that Mr. Krabs loves money, so it's not like he volunteered to spend money on someone other than himself if he could avoid it. But many viewers seem to think that Mr. Krabs actually saved Pearl's life. He had seen her mother killed with a harpoon, and baby Pearl was hiding by her body. This would make sense given his fear of hooks. In one episode, Patrick and SpongeBob are seen playing with fishing hooks, and Mr. Krabs says he would never go near them. He has both fear and respect for the hooks after what he saw with Pearl's mother, and he's willing to make financial sacrifices for her since he couldn't save her mother. But what of her name, Pearl? Well, it's clear that Mr. Krabs loves Pearl when you see what the Krusty Krab sign is made of: clam shells. Pearls come from shells, and while pearls are worth a lot of money, his daughter, Pearl, is priceless. Number 4. Mr. Krabs is a serial killer. Have we ever looked at all the episodes involving Mr. Krabs as a whole and wondered whether the money-hungry crustacean could be a serial killer? I mean, I wouldn't rule it out. First of all, we don't 100% know what happened to Pearl's mother. We have theories like being killed with a harpoon, but who's to say that Mr. Krabs didn't kill her? We also know that he has no regard for the safety of children since he made that dangerous amusement park called Krabby Land. Some viewers believe that crab meat makes up the secret formula of the Krabby Patty. I mean, we haven't seen any other crabs in the show apart from his mother, have we? Others speculate that whale meat is the secret ingredient, But surely Pearl would have been long gone if that were the case. But we do gain insight into how ruthless he is when Mr. Krabs thinks a health inspector is a con artist and makes SpongeBob create a tainted Krabby Patty. When he chokes on a fly and collapses, Mr. Krabs arranges to have his body disposed of rather than calling for help. Oh, and can we forget the time he tried to kill Squidward? He thought Squidward's art would be worth more if Squidward were dead, so his goal was to kill him. He starts by sending him on dangerous missions that would surely see him die, but then tries to beat him with a mallet. Number 5. Bikini Bottom is based on a real-life nuclear weapons testing site. Bikini Bottom seems like a made-up city in the ocean that was the brainchild of the TV show's creators. A fun, childlike city with fun little cartoon sea critters going about their daily lives. But it has much darker origins. Bikini Bottom is actually based on a real place in the Pacific Ocean called Bikini Atoll, which was where nearly 24 nuclear weapons were tested during the Cold War. Bikini is a group of islands within the Marshall Islands, a former United States colony. After World War II, the United Nations made the United States the governing body of a large northern Pacific area, including the Marshall Islands. They then used Bikini in another location, Eniwetok, for testing and developing nuclear weapons between 1946 and 1958. They detonated more than 60 weapons on these islands. But what about the occupants? Well, the government relocated 167 people living on Bikini to Rongerik, east of Bikini. Here, they had inadequate food crops and experienced starvation due to radiation contamination. It'll be thousands of years before they can return home. Look closely at each SpongeBob SquarePants episode, and you might see a few elements of the real Bikini. Number 6. The characters represent the 7 deadly sins. There are 7 main characters in SpongeBob SquarePants: SpongeBob himself, Plankton, Mr. Krabs, Gary the Snail, Sandy, Squidward, and Patrick Star. If you've been watching SpongeBob SquarePants for a number of years, you might have heard the rumor about each of those 7 characters representing the 7 deadly sins. Honestly, it makes complete sense. The most obvious one is, of course, greed, and Mr. Krabs fits that title to a T. He loves nothing more than making money, and is incredibly greedy in how he makes, saves, and spends it. Then there's Patrick, who fits the deadly sin of sloth, which is excessive laziness. You don't see Patrick doing very much at all. Plankton represents envy, as he's envious of Mr. Krabs and his Krusty Krab secret formula. He does everything he can possibly think of to get it. Even Gary the Snail is represented in the 7 deadly sins. All we see is him eating, so he's gluttony. He's definitely lust. He has a tremendous amount of love for his friends, even friends who don't want to be SpongeBob's friends like Squidward. Number 7. Squidward is SpongeBob's guardian. Many viewers have often been left wondering why Squidward still lives next door to SpongeBob even though everything about the Yellow Sea Sponge seems to annoy him greatly. Sure, he did move away to Squidville, but it wasn't long until he was back in Bikini Bottom. But at the very least, surely he could just move to another house so he didn't have to live next door to SpongeBob. Well, he might not be able to because some viewers theorize that SpongeBob's parents paid him to look after SpongeBob. Don't be silly, we've just begun. We all know that Squidward is a classically trained clarinet player, and seemed to have been a member of high society at some point. This was made obvious when we learned that Squidward had gone to school with Squilliam Fancyson. But after a failed clarinet performance, Squidward crashed and burned, and Squidward might have been left to start again. It's been theorized that SpongeBob's parents helped Squidward get back on track in exchange for quite a big favor. They wanted Squidward to look after their son, SpongeBob. It's believed that SpongeBob's parents bought his house and let him enjoy a life of freedom, but only under the watchful eye of Squidward. So, that was all for today. I hope you have watched the video up to this time stamp. Make sure to press the like button if it amazed you. Press the subscribe button if you still haven't subscribed to the channel, as it's totally free. You can follow me on all social media platforms. All links are given in the description. You can also watch other cool stuff. The playlist link is also mentioned in the description. I will catch you up soon in the next video. Till then, peace out.